Hello again. I wonder how long it is since viewers heard the expression equal opportunities. These days that has an outdated sound to it, a bit like clunk click every trip. The concept of equal opportunities has of course been subsumed beneath the banner of diversity and inclusion, which is a very different thing indeed. Equal opportunities means ensuring that nobody is discriminated against because they happen to be women, working class, black, Asian, and so on. That is a very laudable aim and one all of us would support. Diversity and inclusion, on the other hand, entails forcing organisations, government departments, the police, National Health Service, and so on, to see that they employ a certain percentage of black people and women. In other words, the one is a matter of making sure that society is run in a fair and equitable fashion. The other is about rigging things in favour of certain groups within society, which is the precise opposite of fairness. The phrase which is used to justify this manipulation is, of course, ensuring that our company, department, club, hobby, or what have you, reflects the society which we serve. At one time, getting into medical school, for example, was heavily influenced by who your parents were and what school you attended. If your father was a doctor or surgeon, then he might ring the medical school and ask that you might be given preference in the admissions procedure. And even before that, if you had attended what was regarded as a decent school like Rugby, say, or Winchester, you would automatically be moved up the ranking for people they want at the medical school. In this way, those who are not from families of middle-class professionals tended to be squeezed out and discriminated against. This was a shocking state of affairs, and I, for one, am very glad that it no longer happens. This kind of setup militates not only against black people and women, but also those from working class backgrounds. That there should be equality of opportunity, regardless of sex, class, or ethnicity, seems to me to be simply a matter of common decency. This is now thought of as a very old-fashioned idea. When a completely white women's football team is seen, people raise their eyebrows and there are promises to improve the diversity of the team. And this is quite mad. The question to ask is whether there is equality of opportunity in joining that team. In other words, are black people being prevented or discouraged from joining those teams? If so, then that's a serious problem which must be dealt with. There's been no such allegation from anybody, of course, whenever the subject of these white women football team comes up. It is instead asserted that the very absence of black women from those teams is an injustice in itself which must be rectified. That perhaps more white women than black ones are keen on playing football doesn't seem to have occurred to anybody. I used to help run a children's chess club. Only one girl attended. All the rest were boys. They were all white or Indian, and there was not a single black kid. Was this somehow unfair to girls or black children? I don't think so. There was certainly equality of opportunity in that the club was open to every child, but it so happens that chess is a hobby which white boys and Indians and Chinese people tend to pursue far more than girls or black children. The club got a small grant from the local authority, and these days that would be in jeopardy if those running it could not show that the membership reflected the community. In other words, the very fact that it was boys and not girls, Indians and white kids rather than those of African or Caribbean heritage, would be seen as a problem to be sorted out. This then is how things have changed over the last 20 years or so. Where once it was enough to make sure there was no discrimination against any group, or barriers to that group gaining employment, university places, and what have you. Now it has become a positive drive. If women and black people have different interests and wish to follow different pastimes or careers, then there is something unhealthy going on and we must take action to improve the diversity and inclusion. At the college where I taught a few years ago, students in the hair and beauty department were all girls. Those doing the BTEC in bricklaying were all boys. There was equality of opportunity in that nobody prevented girls from joining the bricklaying course. In fact, everyone at the college would have been delighted. But as it happens, girls don't want to be bricklayers. It would be crazy to start insisting that half the students on that course were girls so that they reflected the society which the college was serving. Diversity and inclusion have become an industry with many very well paid jobs in the field. The only way that such people can prove that they are earning their keep and justify their very existence, if you like, is to rig figures so that there are an equal number of men and women in any trade or profession, or to fix the admissions and recruitment to make sure that black people are admitted in certain numbers, even if that means not hiring or enrolling qualified white people. This is all routine practice these days, although nobody likes to talk about it out loud. No decent person is against the idea of equal opportunities, so that nobody is disadvantaged by their sex, class, or ethnicity. On the other hand, many decent people are certainly not in favour of the concept of diversity and inclusion as it is now being practised in modern Britain. The one concerns justice and fairness, the other entails practices which have nothing at all to do with justice and fairness and everything to do with manipulating and reordering society in a certain direction.